Hi, my name is Jim Felly and I'm the designer of Shadows of Malice, and I wanted to talk to you briefly about combat. So for this initial part we're going to talk about just fundamental basic combat, and to do that we only need 2 dice. I'll set these aside. One for the avatar, one for the creature. The fundamental basis behind combat is a 1 to 6 roll called a combat roll, or CR. The avatar gets one, the creature gets one. Whichever outrolls the other hits and delivers 1 wound to the other, regardless of the difference in the numbers. So, for example, 5 and 5, it's a push. That combat phase goes by with neither opponent hitting or wounding the other. 3 for the avatar, 1 for the creature. The avatar has hit and wounded the creature and delivered 1 wound to the creature. 5 for the creature, 3 for the avatar. The creature has hit and wounded the avatar and delivered 1 wound to the avatar. That's the basis of combat. From there, it's modification. This battle will be a little bit more complicated. We're going to suppose that the creature is a power level 2 creature. That means that it has 4 life tokens, gets plus 1d star to the wounds it delivers, and gets plus 1 to its combat roll. So that means that when we roll these 2 dice, the avatar gets its normal roll, 1d6 for its combat roll. The creature gets 1d6 plus 1 for its addition to its combat roll. Furthermore, if the avatar wounds the creature, the avatar will deliver 1 wound. If the creature wounds the avatar, it will deliver its normal 1 wound plus 1d star. Remember, 1d star is a 50-50 chance of a 0 or a 1. So it could deliver either its normal 1 wound or an additional wound for that additional wounding ability. So let's take a look at it and see what happens. Roll the first combat phase. Creature rolls a 5, plus 1 is 6 against the avatar's 3. Creature hits and wounds the avatar for 1 plus that D star. Now there are a couple ways to roll a D star. In the game there are little chits that are added, and they have a star on one side and are blank on the other. So I could just roll that and say, oh, it got an additional wound, so the creature did its 1 wound plus 1 more. Avatar suffers 2 wounds. Another way to roll it is using a 6-sided dice. So 1, 2, and 3 is a 0, 4, 5, and 6 is a 1. Creature did not get the extra 1 wound, so it hit the avatar and delivered 1 plus 0, or just its only 1 wound. Now as you get used to this, you can roll them all at once. Avatar's combat roll, creature's combat roll, and the additional wound. Creature gets a 5 plus 1 is 6 against the avatar's 1 and delivers 1 plus 0, 1 wound. Creature gets a 1 plus 1 is 2 against the avatar's 4. Doesn't matter about the extra wound because the avatar hit and wounded the creature for 1 wound. You could do it with the little chits also. Star is a 1, blank side is a 0. Avatar hits and wounds the creature because it's at 6 against the creature's 2 plus 1 is 3, so it doesn't matter what that came up with. So there's this example that's slightly more complicated of an avatar fighting a power 2 creature. If it were a power 3 creature, it would get plus 2 to its die roll and do 2d star extra wounds when it hits. Let's try that one. Avatar, creature. If it hits, those are the additional 2d star wounds. Avatar rolls a 3. Creature rolls a 5 plus 2 because it's a power 3 creature. Is a 7. 7 beats a 3. It hits and wounds the avatar for its normal 1. High, 1, 1, plus 1, plus 1, 3 wounds. The avatar's hurting. You could have done this also with little chits. Here, oh, tight roll. Avatar rolls a 6. Creature rolls a 5 plus 2 because it's power level 3. So it's got a 7. It beats the avatar and hits the avatar and wounds it for 1 plus 1 plus 0 for 2 wounds. Okay, let's step it up a bit. We have our creature generator, which can generate different types of creatures, but every avatar also has a mastery, which is its special ability for how it manipulates the power of light. For this example, I'm going to use the Combat Defender mastery for the avatar. This gives the avatar an ability of causing the creature to suffer a combat penalty of 1d star. When you look at the iconology, if the icon is white, it affects the card holder. If it's gray, it affects the card holder's opponent. So this particular avatar is going to cause its opponent to suffer the 1d star penalty. Let's suppose that the creature is a power level 2 creature, so it gets plus 1 to its combat roll, plus 1d star to the wounds it delivers. So how would we work this out? Well, we could do it a couple of ways. One way that some people like to do is to say, let's vary this by encounter and let's roll it up just for the encounter. Alright, fine. High is 1, low is 0. It works. So for the duration of combat, this is working and giving the creature a -1. That negates the +1, so it's an even on combat situation. Combat goes on, creature outrolls avatar, delivers 1 plus 1d star wounds. Straight up, avatar outrolls the creature, does 1 wound. Some people like to say, no, I want to roll that for every attack. That's fine. So what we would do is say, this is the penalty that the avatar is delivering to the creature. This is the avatar's die roll. This is the creature's die roll. Remember, the creature's power level 2, so it gets a +1 straight up. So we roll it. What will we come up with? Creature rolls a 2, +1 for its power is a 3. This activated, so -1 for that is back to 2. Avatar beat a 2, did 1 wound to the creature. Creature rolls a 3, +1 is 4, -1 is 3, 5 beats a 3, avatar does 1 wound to the creature. Creature gets a 1, +1, -0 is 2 against the avatar's 3. So that's how that would work using an ability against the creature. Now we can't forget about the soul shard mechanism in the game. Remember, all avatars can extract soul shards from the creatures that they defeat. This particular avatar requires blue soul shards to activate its secondary mastery ability. Clear soul shards can be used for other abilities, such as giving it a +1 onto a die roll. Now, when invoking a soul shard to give an avatar, either itself or a band member, a bonus to a die roll, we need to remember 2 things. 1, these can only be used to influence the die rolls of avatars, not the die rolls of creatures. 2, they can be used only for a combat roll, movement roll, or luck roll. So if you're rolling a 50-50 chance of one person getting hit or another, that's not going to be affected by a soul shard. But if you're trying to influence a combat roll made by an avatar, that could be influenced by a soul shard. So let's say that this is now a power 3 creature that we're facing. It gets +2 to its die roll, plus 2d star wounds. The avatar's ability gives it a -1d star to its die roll. Before the dice are rolled, I'm going to invoke 1 soul shard to give myself a +1. Okay, so the soul shard's invoked. How does that work? A couple ways to think about it. First way, creature rolls a 5. +2 is 7. This did not work. Avatar rolls a 2, +1 is 3. 7 beats a 3. Avatar is hit and wounded. The other way to think of it is, for this particular combat phase, that soul shard negates one of the +1s that the creature has. So the creature's only at +1. Creature rolls a 3, +1 is 4. Avatar rolls a 6, does not get this ability to give the creature a penalty. Avatar hits and wounds the creature. Now we can roll that all at once if you'd like, by saying creature wound bonus, creature die, avatar die, penalty to the creature, and if I throw in a soul shard, creature gets the penalty here. Creature rolls a 2, it gets +2 -1, as +1 is a 3, -1 again because that worked is a 2, avatar rolls a 6, avatar hits and wounds the creature. Let's make single combat a little bit more interesting by giving the creature an ability. So this creature is a lycanthrope. What that ability does for it is it gives it 1 additional life token. It gives it +1d star to its combat rolls. Now notice the icon is white, so that means it affects the card holder or the creature. And it gives the creature +1d star shield against physical attacks. These icons are noted on the icon guide on the back of the creature generator, and it tells you the difference between white and gray, and that the sword is the combat roll, and the shield with a little dagger inside is for physical or combat wounds. So let's suppose that the creature is a power level 2 creature. What does that mean? Power level 2, it has 4 life tokens, +1 is 5. It does +1d star wounds when it hits the avatar and wounds the avatar. It gets +1 to its combat roll, plus another d star to its combat roll. Remember, the avatar has his combat defender ability, so he gives his opponents a -1d star to his combat roll. And I'm going to give the avatar a black shot, and I'll explain that as we go. First, how do we roll combat? Well, we can roll all the things separately or all at once. So since you're used to seeing me roll things together, I'm going to try and put a couple together. Creature's combat roll, avatar's combat roll. Those are the big dice. Penalty to the creature for the avatar, bonus to the creature for its lycanthrope combat roll ability. And just in case it hits, I use these 2 chits to this 1 chit to represent its additional +1d star wound. And in case it gets hit, I'll use this white star chit to represent its ability to defend. So let's roll those all at once and see how things look. So what's happened here? The avatar has rolled a 5. The creature has rolled a 2, +0 for the lycanthrope, -1 for the combat defender because it's high, +1, so it gets a 2, +1, 3, +0, -1 is a 2 against the avatar's 5. We don't worry about the additional wounds. Its armor did not activate, and therefore the avatar delivers 1 wound to the creature. Let's try that again. Two zeros, so the additional wound the creature delivers is going to be 0, and the armor does not activate. Creature rolls a 6. Creature rolls a 6 +0. Avatar rolls a 6. It delivers the creature a -1, but the creature gets a +1, so that's a wash. So it's a 6 versus a 6. It's a push. No one hits, no wounds are delivered. Let's do that one more time. Okay, This time, creature rolls a 5, minus 0, plus 1 is 6, plus 0. Creature gets a 6 against the avatar's 1. Creature hits, does 1 wound to the avatar. Its additional wound did not activate, so the avatar suffers a single wound. Let's suppose, for the sake of argument, that the creature had rolled a 1 and the avatar had rolled a 6. So this had been our die roll, our combat roll. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 0 minus 0. Creature rolls a 2. Avatar rolls a 6, delivers 1 wound to the creature. But the creature's D-star armor worked this time, so the creature sustains no wounds. This is a situation where the creature was hit, but not wounded. Now we can simplify combat a little bit by using a net out method. So the net out method says, I give the creature a minus 1 D-star to combat. Its ability gives it a plus 1 D-star to combat. Let's negate those. I basically have a lottery card to give it a penalty. It has a lottery card to give it a bonus. They're the exact same lottery. Cancel them out. If we do that, it makes die rolling easier and a little bit faster. So what I'm going to do now is roll creature, its additional wound, its armor, avatar. Now at this point the avatar could say, wait a minute, I'm going to throw in a plus 1 soul shard, and that plus 1 to my combat roll negates its plus 1. So the dice, the 2 main combat dice, are straight up. Oh, creature still beat the avatar and delivered 1 plus 1 additional wound. If the soul shard invoked matches the color of any one of the creature's abilities, it counts double. So let's invoke this soul shard on the avatar's behalf. That's a plus 2. It not only negates the plus 1 that the creature gets, but then gives the avatar an additional plus 1. So now rolling avatar at plus 1, creature even on. Avatar gets a 3, creature gets a 6, delivers 1 plus 0 or 1 wound to the avatar. Let's make this single combat a little bit more interesting. We'll still use the lycanthrope ability. However, this time we're going to give our avatar some gear. Avatar's got a shield of biting, which protects it from 1 D-star physical wounds, and also increases the physical wounds the avatar delivers by plus 1 D-star. And we're going to give the avatar the Axe of Searing Rage, which gives the avatar straight up plus 1 for combat in terms of its combat rolls, and changes all wounds delivered by the avatar to fire type. Now the reason that's important is because now the avatar is delivering fire wounds, which is energy, so a physical shield is not going to defend the creature. It needs an energy shield, especially one tuned to fire. So the way this is going to work now is if the avatar hits the creature has no defense against the wounds incoming. Let's suppose, for the sake of argument, it's a power level 3 creature. Power level 3 means it's got plus 2 to its die roll to hit, does plus 2 D-star wounds, and has 6 plus 1, 7 life points. I have 1 die for the avatar, 1 die for the creature. The creature's plus 2, one of them is negated by the plus 1 that the avatar has for the Axe of Searing Rage. So the creature's now up by 1. Let's suppose that these 2 net out again. The creature's bonus, the creature's penalty, same level, will net them out. So the only thing that's happening now is that the avatar gets its die roll and the creature's plus 1 against it. Let's just roll it straight up and then see what happens with damage before we start putting dice together. So, creature's at plus 1 is a 7, avatar gets a 5. Creature's going to deliver its normal wounds to the avatar plus 2 D-star because it's power level 3. So, here's the 2 D-star wounds for the creature. But don't forget, my avatar has a shield which protects him from 1 D-star physical wounds. There's my shield. And I will use high is 1, low is 0. So the wounds coming in, I have 1 normally, plus 0, plus 1 is 2 incoming wounds, none of which are shielded. So the avatar would suffer 2 wounds. Let's roll that again just to see if we get a different point. Let's suppose that that had come up a 4. I would have 1 wound coming in, plus 0 plus 1 is 2 incoming wounds, one of which, blocked by the shield, avatar would take 1 wound. Well, as we did before, I could also use these little cardboard chits that come with the game. I'm going to use black for the incoming wounds and white for the shield. So if I rolled those, I would have had 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 incoming wounds, 1 blocked by the shield, avatar would have taken 2 wounds. And again, as you get used to these, you can start rolling things all at once. Avatar die roll to hit, shield activation, creature's combat roll, additional wounds if it hits. Creature gets a 4 plus 1 is 5. Avatar gets a 3. Creature hits and wounds the avatar, does 1 plus 0 plus 0, 1 wound incoming, shield blocks it, avatar is hit and not wounded. Let's try the soul shard again. Clear soul shard this phase. That basically gives the avatar a plus 1 to his combat roll. So the creature that was at plus 2, minus 1 is at plus 1, avatar is now at plus 1, even on in terms of the die rolls, combat rolls to hit. Okay, it's a push. So no hits are scored, no wounds are delivered. Okay. White star is shield activation, white dice is extra wounding, avatar combat roll, creature combat roll, creature's additional wounds. Roll them all at once. Roll a 4, creature rolls a 6. I did not cast a soul shard, so that's really a 7 for the creature. Creature hits and wounds the avatar. Creature does 1 plus 0 plus 1, 2 wounds incoming, one of which is stopped by the armor, or I'm sorry, by the shield. So the avatar sustains 1 wound. Had it gone this way, creature rolls a 1 plus 1 is 2 against the avatar's 5. Avatar hits and wounds the creature. Creature's additional wounds don't help because it didn't hit me. Avatar's armor doesn't matter because it wasn't hit. What's left was the avatar hit the creature for 1 plus 1, 2 wounds incoming, all of fire type, creature can't block. Let's do one last one of those. And this time what I'm going to do is the same thing. Avatar, creature combat roll, avatar additional wound, creature additional wound, avatar additional armor. But this time I'm going to throw in a black soul shard. Remember, since the soul shard matches the color of the creature's ability, if the creature had 2, it would only have to match either one of them. It counts double. So the creature was at plus 2 for being power level 3, minus 1 because I have a straight plus 1 for the avatar for the weapon, brings that to plus 1. This counts double, negates the plus 1, and gives the avatar plus 1. So the avatar is now at plus 1 versus the creature. Oops. Avatar rolls a 3. Creature rolls a 4. Creature hits and wounds the avatar. Avatar's shield did not activate. Creature did 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 wounds incoming to the avatar. Nasty, nasty hit. Despite a nice soul shard. And that is an example of very complicated single combat. So, thank you for watching. Have a great time gaming.